I'm an empowerment life coach supporting women around the globe to lean into and realize the importance of you. The goal of this channel is to provide you, the viewer, with some takeaways that will help you shift, change, reevaluate, and or become way more aware of what is possible. We have a variety of incredible guests who are sharing their life experiences that have helped them become the fabulous human beings that they are today. Every one of us, sometime in our lives, has had that infamous free time where we frequently feel guilty or embarrassed and or wrong for taking out time for ourselves. Well, we are absolutely here to change that and support you to see what is possible for you when you take the time for you, by you, because of you. It is such an honor and a privilege to welcome to our show today, Wendy Deacon, a seasoned expert in preventative health care with over 20 years of experience in exercise physiology. Her dedication to mitigating health risks and aiding recovery from heart attacks and strokes has impacted hundreds of thousands. As a certified wilderness first aid provider, Wendy merges her healthcare background with over 15 years of curating active vacations for herself, family, and friends. Wendy's niche lies in empowering women over 40 to maintain health while embracing adventurous escapades. Through Destiny U, her transformative coaching venture, she's influenced over 10,000 individuals, facilitating epic experiences tailored for specific health conditions, fitness levels, and comfort zones. Her mission is to tackle the lack of adventure opportunities for women over aged 40 and above. Wendy crafts modified yet exhilarating experiences, assembling like-minded groups to conquer challenges like the Alta Via One route in Italian Dolomites or glacier walks in Iceland. With Wendy, it's about experiencing the epic without the pressure to match the pace of younger guides and groups. She's not just about adventure. Wendy ignites the dormant, awesome adventure button within everyone, especially her favorite clients, women seeking intentional living and epic adventures while fostering a community of like-minded souls. Join us as Wendy shares all that she can about this incredible opportunity that is lying in wait for you as our viewers. I'm like, I can envision it. I'm like, Iceland, yes. How?
Yes. Or the Sahara or wherever. What's on your bucket list, for God's sakes, and why are we waiting?
Isn't that incredible? Do you find that the bucket lists are there, but it's an excitement and yet a fear at the same time with your clients?
I think it is, but I think what happens more often is that it's something everyone talks about and knows that they want. They either have bucket list ideas or they know they want to go on their own bucket list adventure, but they get busy and the day to day and all about what your show is. They forget to prioritize themselves and you. Right? We are so good, as you know better than anybody, about taking care of everybody else. And my whole focus is, okay, that's wonderful and kudos to you, but it is time for yourself. And I don't want you to wait until you're 85 and then you realize you can't ride a camel in the Sahara like you really wanted to, right? And so I find it's more the busyness of life that unfortunately keeps pushing this to the back of the list. And then months go by and another year goes by, and I hear all the time from women going, oh my gosh, I would love to join you on X, or, oh, it's so cool that you went here, or I've always wanted to. What's stopping you? So That's what I try to help women with, and try to make sure we have adventure buddies, because whether you're married and maybe this isn't your spouse's thing, maybe they don't want to go to Olympic National Park, maybe they don't want to ride us, go-kart somewhere, that's okay. Or whether you're single, whether your friends just aren't into this, I'm trying to make sure that you can connect with other women who love to do this and then share their ideas and inspirational stories. Because I love hearing from my community when they tell me about a place or an experience that really was soul filling for them, because then I add it to my bucket list. And I don't call it a bucket list anymore. I call it a live it now list.
Oh, say that again. Say that again. Ooh, that's powerful.
Not a bucket list anymore. It's a live it now list.
I love that. So if you are watching the replay, make sure you make that change, because isn't it true how we say things really aligns with the energy that's behind it?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree. And when you can envision it and start putting it into your thinking process, and I think that's part of also the excitement, right? The planning of the experience. And it's not just about going and being there and taking the picture or putting it on Facebook, right? It's about experiences that make you feel alive in it, and really, whether you believe it spiritually fills you up, emotionally fills you up, whatever it is, our time on this planet is limited, and we don't want to get to a point where we are stopped in our tracks and we can't do it anymore. And that's actually what happened with me. I loved my healthcare background, but it was on New Year's Day with a friend when she was having abdominal pain, and the surgeon told her she had stage 4 ovarian cancer. And I will never, ever, ever forget sitting in her room on New Year's Day going, oh my gosh, what if I never get to see the Northern Lights? What if I never get to ride ski again, or feel water skiing, or go to Hawaii, or all these different things that all of a sudden became like smacked me in the face with reality? And not to minimize at all, of course, what was going on with my friend, but again, we're at an age, anything can happen. And it might not be something that significant, but it might be enough of a change in your world that you either don't have the resources or something else prohibits your ability to do what you really want to do.
You started mentioning how you got into this. And I love what you shared in that there are trips that I know that we've looked at, and I'd be like, and my husband and I have talked about this multiple times, because as you say, things are starting to crop up, the gray hair is real, right? So
yeah, yes,
so
yes. Ooh, the great, I mean, even when you do the intro and you talk about how many years, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not that old. Yes, I am.
It just proves, though, doesn't it, that time flies. And so it's a commodity that we think, oh, we can do that tomorrow, but live it now.
Yes.
Living it now is so key. Yeah.
Yep. And I'll tell you one other limiting belief. Sorry, Denise, but one other limiting belief is it might be a little hard, right? Or it might be a little out of my comfort zone. If you feel that way now, I will guarantee you that every day we are aging, whether we like it or not, and it will be harder tomorrow, and it'll be harder in 5 years. And so, if you feel like you want to try doing a 5K, for an example, and you're like, that might be hard. It'll be harder in a year from now when I'm 56, 57, right? It'll be harder 5 years from now. So if I ever want to do it, this is probably the time to just give it a shot.
Yeah. That is key, isn't it? It's working our mind around that wait button and going, what is it that we're really waiting for? I know when I work with my clients, a lot of times we talk about, well, if this were your child, oh man, it would happen. Like they mean the world to me. We need to start to mean the world to ourselves, because when we start to give back to ourselves,
give yourself
when
permission.
our lives change. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yes, give yourself permission, because you are worth it. Absolutely agree. Yeah. And you'll, the other, I guess, phrase that resonates with me is, the not making a choice is a choice. If you're putting
Ah,
off a decision, time is going to keep marching on. And like you said, it goes faster and faster and faster. So not making a choice is making a choice to delay that. And where does that fit with your priorities right now?
yeah.
You abandon your entire life and go off and you do what Jack Nicholson was able to do and just tour the world tomorrow. But there are ways you can get these mini soul-filling experiences, long weekends away or a week away at a time that really, again, recharge you, re-energize you, and help reprioritize what's important. Because I know on my last few days on this planet, I'm not going to be thinking about how I made budget that one year or sold X number of widgets in 1988, right? I'm not going to care about any of that. So,
Right.
what memories are we making today?
Hmm. Now you started mentioning, and this popped a question into my mind. Um, what types of experiences do you orchestrate? Do you do like weekends? Do you do longer? Do you do short? Like what types of things? If I were like, well, I don't know that I could handle going on a trip to Iceland, but I could maybe consider a weekend at, this provincial park or that, national park
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. Um,
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about the variety of options that you kind of explore.
Sure. So, because I'm based in Colorado, and that actually was part of how I evolved as well, because I didn't know I liked mountains when I lived in Florida. I was a beach kid and a swimmer, so I didn't know that. So, anyway, since I'm based in Colorado, I do have a number of meetups for folks in the area, like where we'll go for a 3-hour hike or go for we've done in Phoenix, we did our pole dancing class, which that's fun to modify for 50-year-olds. That's a great thing to do, and again, really fun. So I do have individual meetups. I find
Okay.
probably the experience I have the most of are long weekends, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and
Okay.
so traveling Wednesday, usually in the afternoon, and Sunday mornings, and then 1 or 2 international trips a year, and those are usually about a week
Okay.
at a time. Yeah, usually about a week at a time. I find that I always have very small groups, so less than 10,
Okay.
because I like to be able to customize it. And we found,
Mm.
like in Italy this summer, we were there in June, and we were in the Dolomites. And again, altering the route because the first day was too long for our women, and that's not the experience I want. So we altered the route,
Yep.
but we found even after the first day that some of the group were not comfortable. So we further modified the route for day 2 and 3. And so I like having a smaller private group because then we're more nimble and able to make sure
Mm.
each person is, even if they're stepping out of their comfort zone a little bit, they're supported by other women who are cheering them on and not feeling pressured, right? Don't feel like they have to go fast or keep up with the 24-year-old male guide, because it's just it's a different experience than having Paola, who was with us from the area in Italy, who was 54 herself. That's a very different experience.
I bet. Yes.
Yeah, so it's a
When
variety of
you
different lengths.
when you are in the throes of the longer trips and you realize that there are different varying needs, which happens as soon as you get more than 3 people in a room, their needs start to
Right,
vary, as we know, right?
right,
So,
absolutely.
what is if somebody were like, well, I've always wanted, if they're listening and they're like, I always wanted this, but
Hmm.
I don't know whether I'm going to hold the group back. Like, I don't want to jump in the fact that I'm going to hold everybody back. So I think I want to talk to Wendy, but I don't, yeah, I don't. Do you get that a lot? Like people are like,
I do.
I want to, but yeah. What do you,
I do.
how do you help somebody like myself who's pretending like, oh, I would love to. Oh, I can't. I would
No,
mess
it's no problem.
everybody's trip up.
Yep, it's all good. So I do I have free intro consults that you can sign up for on my website. That's easy. So at any time, I'll talk with anybody. If it's somebody who wants to sign up for a trip, we talk through that. And then actually, every one of my experiences and adventures, you put down a deposit, and then we have individual discussion to talk about what are your expectations. And for me, this has been an evolution as well. The first, group I took on more of an active hiking adventure that was not a group of my friends. I had somebody telling me I thought I was asking the right questions to make sure I had a very congruent group, and turned out I was asking the wrong questions. And I was assured, yep, she had done this before. Everything was great. It was very, when we got there, that wasn't the situation. And that's okay. That's my fault for not learning at that stage. So let's say, for example, you decide that trip looks really cool. Then you sign up with a free consult. We talk through it. I tell you, this is what I think is minimally required for you to enjoy it. And most of the time you have 6 months of lead time. So, it will say things like because we'll actually be hiking again this summer on an epic route in Switzerland. But we'll talk about that we'll be on our feet for about 6 hours, but we're moving slow. We'll talk about the reality of the type of clothing you want to have, what the experience will be like. So at any time, once someone puts down a deposit, that can be refunded if they find it's not the right fit. Because I don't want then it's a lose-lose situation, because that actually takes them back. It regresses their adventure button, and I want it. I want them to leave there going, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did that. And it was incredible.
I love your focus in terms of activating that awesome adventure button. I think that in a nutshell explains what your overall goal is for any experience, whether it be a weekend, whether it be a week, whether it be, whatever the experience is, the goal of it. And I can just tell by the way that you communicate and talk and are so keen on opportunities that are lying in wait for women to be able to access. I can't wait to get this out into the World Wide Web. I just can't. And I know you have different opportunities for people to find you in your world, right? So you've got your website, which is www.destinationu, the letter U with no spaces, with a .net. And you also have a YouTube channel, Destination.
I do. I will tell you, I have been stockpiling. I have so much video and images, and I'm actually trying to get better. I like being outside, so I don't like doing all the video stuff. So I'm trying to get better. I know it's kind of this oxymoron, right? I'm trying to get people off social media, and so anyways.
I hear you.
Yeah, but so my YouTube channel and Instagram and Facebook, I'm also sharing resources and either places I think you should visit or type of gear. I think every woman should have a hiking pole. It's really hip actually in Europe for teenagers. So, you're actually ahead of the curve if you do it here. But but giving key ideas on things and even questions that you can ask if you're going on an adventure yourself. And that's, I think, the other piece is I do have a community of women who are sharing ideas, and you don't have to go on the trip with me. If you decide that you've always wanted to go to Acadia National Park, I've never been there, and I don't have a trip set up for there. But I know 2 people in our community who have great experience, and I can connect you, or you learn from each other, right? So I am also willing and excited to help somebody plan their trip and kind of do some homework for them and help them ask the right questions so they don't find themselves in a group of 8 guys in their 20s bungee jumping off of the Baja Peninsula and they didn't expect it, right? Yeah. So helping make sure you're asking the right questions and, setting up what really matches your interests. And it doesn't have to be physically active. There are great things like museum tours where you can go different cities to see specific things, different art installations. So there's a lot of ways that, it's adventure, but it's really just experiencing and what are you doing to be more fulfilled?
Hmm. There's a beautiful tie-in for the adventure, right? The awesome adventure button. What are you doing to
Yeah.
fulfill your life now? Hmm.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any advice to help somebody who wants to, but is really unsure of how to? So if they're like, well, I
Mm.
want to, but I honestly, this, you know, a- as kids, we went to the holiday exclusive, right? We went to all of the,
Yeah.
and everybody catered to us because that was the world I grew up in. And I really love the idea of being in nature or taking these bigger hikes, but I don't know if I could even handle it. Like all the questions that are coming through.
Right. So I think have an image in your mind. There's either something you've seen either in a magazine. I remember like when I've seen oh my goodness, like the slot canyons in Arizona. I remember seeing pictures of that in Sedona and going, oh my gosh, where is that? That is incredible, right? And it took years before I found what the name of this place was. So I think what I would recommend from an action step perspective is write down one or two places or an experience you want to have. Do you want to see the whales in the Pacific Northwest? Do you want to sit on a beach, just dig your toes in the sand? Do you want to take a French culinary class or an Italian, a wine pairing adventure? So write down one or two things that are on your list. And then I would just start Googling on the internet. I think it's faster to just set a time with me to come talk and let's just spend 15 minutes and let me give you a few key questions or recommendations. Because a lot of times I've built a really great network of guides and places. And if I don't know the area, I can do a quick search with you and say, this looks a little closer to our circle and what you'd be looking for. So just helping someone to narrow it down. But I think the number one thing is just write it down and decide, are you doing it this year? Are you doing it in 6 months? And then once you set that goal, like, prioritizing something for you, you'll start working towards it.
Mm-hmm. This has been such an enlightening conversation. I absolutely love what you do. And I am so grateful that our paths have crossed because there are so many people in the world, women over 40 plus many other people in the world that can
Yep.
benefit even from connecting with you and asking you to help them narrow some thoughts down, because when you have those conversations, you've toned and teased some specific questions that will really help facilitate, and they won't have to go around in circles and never have anything happen. You're about taking action, and I heard you say taking
Yes.
action can even be starting to organize your thoughts. Start
Yes.
there and get going. Take action, because as you said, making a decision or not making a decision is still a decision.
It is. And I don't wait till you're 67 or 75 or 88 or whatever. Hopefully we'll all make it there, but do it now. And I love when I get somebody, I'm saying, I'm old for your group. No, you're as young as you feel. Come on.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And your support means the world, because this isn't just, I know the guides and I know you have a whole health background. So with all of that, this is the
Yes.
most complete package that I've ever heard of. And for those of us who are ready to take those steps or have conversation, make sure you find Wendy. In the show notes are the ways you can connect with her. And it has been a real privilege and an honor to have you in the room. Thank you so much for
Oh,
spending time with us today.
no, ditto, Denise. I love the fact that you're focusing on the importance of you, and again, by you and for you. It's so important. So thank you
Yeah.
for continuing to champion that message and for helping so many women individually and in groups, because your work is very, very important. So I feel like I get to do all the fun stuff. So thank you so
And
much.
thank you. Take care, and we will see you next week. We have another guest coming on. And in the meantime, if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please make sure you do, because you don't want to miss any of the incredible guests that we have and the content that they get to share with us. Make sure you go and do something for you, by you, because of you today. Bye-bye.
Yep. Thanks.